a large American contingent at the game as we pick up the action. Second period, the Americans in the blue or darker jerseys as you watch. This is Christensen in his own end, losing the puck to Treganov. The American goalie, number 30, is Mike Curran, the fellow who had such a great game against Czechoslovakia in the tremendous upset victory the other day. Petrov, back of the net for Russia, as the Americans now start to bring it out. This is Christensen. Christensen, the alternate captain to Mark Howe, Gordy's son, and a slap shot saved by Tretьяк. The puck loose in the corner. Christensen is there to get it for the United States. Russia leading at this point 2-0. Back come the Russians now. Lutchenko passes in on the right side. This is Aikachov behind the net, passing out in front. A perfect pass to Mальцев, who puts it in for the score. Number 10, Alexander Mальцев, scoring on a pass from Alexander Ikachev. And we'll watch it again. Lutchenko, the defenseman, number 2, a perfect pass. And this is what the Russians are so good at. They're so precise at it because they practice 11 and a half months a year at it. So their passing is picture perfect. Watch here now, and watch the move made on the defenseman, number 2 for the American team. Watch the move made right here as this is Ikachev getting behind Mackelmurray. A perfect pass to Mальцев, who beats Curran. Curran had really no chance on it, and that made it a 3-0 game. The Americans starting to get a little discouraged at this point, and this is the ensuing face-off right from that last goal. It will not take the Russians very long to make it 4-0, and at this point, the Americans just about out of the game. The Americans controlling right here. This is number 11, Robbie Fedoruk, just 19 years old from Massachusetts. Fedoruk centering the pass, but nobody out in front to take it, and now back come the Russians. Here they come. Number 17, Valery Kharlamov, setting up number 18, Vladimir Vikulov, for the goal to make it 4-0. And again, the Russians, after playing their own end, get out so quickly. That's the difference, probably, the basic difference between these two teams. 18, Vikulov putting it in. 26 seconds after the Russians made it 3-0, they made it 4-0. Now, at this point, Keith Christensen is in the penalty box for the Americans. This about 2 minutes later. Mike Curran, the goalie, who was so good against Czechoslovakia, was very good again tonight, despite the fact he gave up 7 goals. You'll see some fine saves here on the Russian power play. Notice how meticulous they are. They're perfect. They'll get off an amazing array of shots in the 2-minute period. In the corner, Ichikov with it to Petrov. Petrov comes in. Back to Ichikov, number 7. A pass into Firsoff, number 11, most valuable player in the 68 Olympics. In behind the net it goes to Vikulov, out in front, almost put in. Curran able to make the save that time, and the Americans clearing it. They're a perfect example of the pressure put on. Now the penalty is still on to Christensen as we pick up the action on the next face-off. Slap shot from the point, kicked aside by Curran. Americans unable to clear it, keeping it in. Mальцев puts it in, off the skate as Christensen comes out of the penalty box too late, just as Christensen stepped out. This is Mальцев going in deep here, and watch him come out, and he'll get a perfect angle. He's got a wing breaking in. You can see him at the bottom of the screen, number 16 on the left side, and he is actually trying to pass to him. But the shot, or the pass if you call it, I guess you'd have to call it a pass more than a shot at this point, still winds up going in because Sanders, number 9, has it deflect off his skate or his stick. It's hard to see which. In any event, it goes in, and that makes the score 5-0. Now we're later in the second period. About 12 minutes to go in the period, 5-0 Russia, and the Americans now have a power play. Now watch the difference between the power plays of the two clubs. Here are the Russians, Lutchenko to Mishakov. Now watch Mishakov. He'll keep the puck for a good 15 seconds. He'll lead up a good portion of the penalty by himself. The object here, of course, to eat up as much of the clock as you can. And notice the difference between the two clubs. The Russians with so much pressure on the Americans with their power play, and the Russians doing a fantastic job penalty killing. And again, the 11 and a half months of practice, they spend that much time together during the year, paying off in situations just like this. And now it looks like Russia actually has the man advantage as they get off the only shot in that sequence. So the second period ended 5-0. 5-0 the score. We pick up action here in the third period. The game over just a couple of hours ago before a capacity crowd at Makomanai. The Russians come in on a break. Number 14, Petrov, is knocked down. Slapshot is knocked down out in front. Now here come the Americans. Watches Christensen comes in on the right side. Christensen loses the defenseman Lutchenko. Out in front it comes, picking it up. Mackelmuri at the point. Comes loose in the corner. He comes in deep. A perfect pass to Sanders, and he puts it in, and the Americans are on the board. 4.5 minutes into the third period. That made it a 5-1 game. And we've got fans all over the world. Hello, NBC Sports at Makomanai Arena in Sapporo. Now the Russians start out on their own end. They'll get a 3-on-2 advantage in just a moment after play in the neutral zone here. And again, perfect passing as they have a 4-goal lead at this point. Third period, moving in, Petrov on the left side, and a perfect pass to Blinoff, and watching deep Curran perfectly, and the dejected Curran just falling over backwards at that point after giving up goal number 6. But again, very little chance here. Blinoff, a perfect fake, and going for it is Curran, and then the backhander into the net to make the score 6-1. Again, Russia starting out now on its own end. Vladimir Vikulov with the puck. Vikulov over the blue line to Tsygankov, and Tsygankov, number 7, is able to put it in. Another perfect pass, another goal, and the Russians at this point have it all sewn up. It is 7-1, slow motion again. Coming in, number 18, Vladimir Vikulov to number 7. Gennady Tsygankov, Curran is beaten, and that makes it 7-1. This is about midway now through the third period, and play starts to get a little ragged and a little rough here, as you can see. Lutchenko taking down Boucher with him. Out to the point that comes to Petrov. The Americans start back. Ahern coming in across the line. Going into the corner. Ahern with a good check on Kuzkin, but Kuzkin will get him back, as you can see, and the stoppage of play there. But that's about as rough as it got. Basically a penalty-free game. Now comes the final, the second goal for the United States, down 7-1 at this point, coming late in the third period. Russia leading 2-0 at the end of the first period, 5-0 at the end of the second, 7-1 here late in the third period. Russians in their own end, and for one of the rare times, having a little bit of trouble getting it out, but at this point the game completely put away. This is Ahern, losing it in the corner to Boucher, back to Ahern, out in front to Maslin, and he puts it in. He actually put it in the first time, and he couldn't see the puck behind the goal of Tretyak. As we watched it again in slow motion, he didn't realize that he had actually scored. It looks at first as if he scores on a carom, but he actually put it in there. Then he comes around, he gets the angle, he sees the puck in the net, and the sticks go up, and the Americans have their second goal, and that is the way they ended as we watch the final few seconds of the game. The Russians with 2 victories now and a tie with Sweden. The final score right there, 7-2. You'll see another goal coming up here for Russia at the buzzer, but it does not count because it came after the buzzer. And again, the final is Russia 7, the United States 2.